This is Happy Wheels Cars and Stuff, and today we are replacing a Fiesta ST coilover or strut, depending on what you have or you're gonna have. So let's get into it. Tools you're gonna need for this job gonna be a jack stands, a breaker bar, crescent wrench or wrenches, depending on how many you want to use, probably two, impact gun, a torque wrench, a 5mm Allen key or an Allen bit for the end link nut removal, 10mm wrench for the brake line bracket, 13mm wrench or socket for the top mount nuts, different size per vehicle. I highly recommend using a ratchet wrench so you have the flexibility of getting into tight spots. And also a 15mm socket or sockets for the lower strut mount bolts, nuts, and end link nut. Different sizes per vehicle. And I said 15mm socket or sockets because in this video I use a 15mm socket and also a crescent wrench to hold the nut for the lower strut mount bolts. And you'll see that in the video. So it's totally your call. You can either use two of the same size sockets and two wrenches, or you can just use a crescent wrench and then a 15mm socket and ratchet. It's up to you. Brake torque on your lug nuts, raise the car, set it on jack stands, remove the lug nuts and set the tire to the side. Then, remove the lower strut mount nuts using a 15mm socket and crescent wrench. Also remove the 10mm brake line bracket bolt to set the brake line to the side. Once those nuts are off, use a 15mm wrench and 5mm Allen key or a bit to remove the upper end link nut and set the end link to the side. Now remove the lower mounting bolts and, using the jack to maneuver the spindle up and down, pull the spindle away from the coilover strut assembly. With the spindle removed from the suspension, move the brake fluid reservoir out of the way by removing the two 10mm bolts to get to the top mounting nuts. Then, using a 13mm ratchet wrench, brake torque on all the nuts, loosen them until they can be removed by hand, and fully remove one of the nuts, leaving the last two to hold the suspension in place for now. Now, grasping the suspension from underneath, remove the remaining upper nuts and pull the suspension away. Installing or reinstalling your coilover or strut is going to be the exact opposite process of removing it. Move the coilover into place, then hand tighten the upper mounting nuts. The rear one can be tricky, so don't get too frustrated. Using the jack to assist raising the spindle, attach it to the lower strut mount, install the end link, and insert the lower bolts. Then, raise the suspension until the top of the strut or coilover is flush with the frame. Now fully tighten the three top nuts and move back to the lower portion. Install the lower mounting nuts and the upper end link nut. Tighten the end link nut using the same method as when you removed it. Moving on to the lower bolts and nuts, tighten them with an impact to start, then torque to 65 foot-pounds. bolts torqued, reinstall the 10mm brake line bracket bolt. Reattach the cable mounts. Reinstall the brake fluid reservoir. Reinstall your tire. Lower the car and torque your wheel to 100 foot-pounds, and then your job is complete. Thank you everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like it and leave your comments in the comment section below. If you want to subscribe, hit that subscribe button and that bell to be notified whenever I have new content. In the meantime, enjoy one of the videos on the top left or right. Have a good one.